Namaste, I'm Coach Tejasvi. Over the years, in my conversation with professionals, leaders, entrepreneurs, and individuals seeking a more meaningful life, I have noticed a common theme. Most of the people are successful, they are very hardworking. Many of them are doing everything they were told would bring fulfillment. And yet, somewhere along the way, deeper questions begin to emerge. What am I really striving for? Why doesn't achievement feel the way I thought it would? What truly matters to me? And what does it mean to live a life that is not just successful but deeply meaningful? This 21-day series, From Achievement to Alignment, is an invitation to explore these questions together. Drawing upon the wisdom of Advaita Vedanta, Upanishads, yoga philosophy, and modern psychology, we will explore how to live with a greater clarity, purpose, and harmony. And there is no better place to begin with than a question that touches so many successful people today, which is, why am I successful but not at peace? Let me start with a question. Have you ever achieved something you deeply wanted? It could be a promotion, a business milestone, it could be a financial goal, a new home, recognition from someone whose opinion really mattered to you. And for a while, it felt wonderful. You felt accomplished, relieved, could be satisfied. And then gradually, life returned to normal. The excitement faded. The mind moved on. And a new goal quietly appeared. A new target, a new milestone, a new version of success. And perhaps a small voice inside asked, now what? Not because you weren't grateful, not because the achievement wasn't meaningful, but because the peace you expected to arrive with that success and achievement simply didn't stay. As a coach, I have seen this repeatedly. People who look successful from the outside often carry a quiet restlessness on the inside. Not because they are failing, but because they are exhausted from constantly chasing the next thing. Many describe it as a feeling like they are running a race without knowing where the finish line is. I believe many of us live in an unconscious promise. It sounds something like this: when I achieve this, then I'll be happy. When I get that promotion, then I'll finally relax. When I earn enough money, then I will feel secure. When my life looks a certain way, then everything will be okay. Can you see what's happening? We are placing peace somewhere in the future. We are treating happiness as a reward for achievement, something that's waiting for us at the next milestone. The challenge is that every time we reach the milestone, the mind creates another one and the chase continues. Modern psychology has a term for this. It is called hedonic adaptation. Human beings quietly and quickly adapt to the improved circumstances. The promotion becomes normal. The new salary becomes your baseline. The dream home that you achieved becomes simply a place you live in. And what once felt extraordinary becomes ordinary, and the mind begins the search again. This doesn't mean achievement is wrong. Achievement can improve your circumstances, but it cannot permanently satisfy our deeper longing. And that raises an important question. What exactly are we seeking through achievement? Let's explore that question together. When you say, I want the promotion, what are you really seeking? When you say, I want more money, what are you really looking for in that more money? When you say, I want recognition, what is the hidden hunger that you're seeking in that recognition? Most people will answer freedom, security, respect, success. But if we keep asking why, something deeper will emerge. We all want fulfillment. We want lasting happiness. We want peace. And we want to feel complete and whole, like nothing is missing. And this question fascinated the sages of the Upanishads. One of my favorite teachings come from the Taittiriya Upanishad. It is called Ananda Mimamsa, an inquiry into happiness. Thousands of years ago, the sages asked a profound question. What is the highest happiness available to a human being? And instead of giving a simple answer, they created a thought experiment. Imagine a young person, healthy, strong, educated, emotionally mature, respected, blessed with every opportunity, every resource, and every comfort available. The Upanishad says, let's call this one unit of human happiness. Then it multiplies that happiness 100 times, and then another 100 times, and another 100 times, and keep on scaling. It's almost as if the sages are stretching the imagination to its limits. How much happiness can external conditions provide? How much fulfillment can success, pleasure, power, and privilege offer? And then comes the insight. Even the greatest happiness available through external conditions remains limited because every experience depends on circumstances. Every pleasure comes and goes. Every achievement rises and falls. And every success eventually becomes a part of yesterday's story. The sages were pointing us towards something very deeper. They were saying, what you truly seek is not merely another experience. You seek ananda, the deeper sense of inner fullness, a completeness that does not depend entirely on external conditions. And this feels incredibly relevant today because most of us have become experts at improving the conditions of happiness, the external circumstances, a better career, a better lifestyle, a better title, better income. And there is absolutely nothing wrong with these pursuits. But here's the distinction I want you to remember. The modern world teaches us to improve the conditions of happiness. Vedanta invites us to discover the source of happiness. Pause with that for a moment. Improving the conditions of happiness and discovering the source of happiness are not the same thing. One is external and the other is internal. One depends on circumstances, the other depends on the journey inward, understanding ourselves. Advaita Vedanta then asks a beautiful question. Who is the one seeking all this happiness? Most of us never stop to investigate. We become identified with our roles, our profession, our achievements. Yeah? We become identified with our titles, the success that we achieve, and slowly our worth becomes tied to performance. Vedanta gently reminds us you have achievements, but you are not your achievements. You have thoughts, but you are not your thoughts. You have roles, but you are more than your roles. There is a deeper dimension to who you are. And when we forget that, achievement becomes a way of proving our worth. When we remember it, achievement becomes an expression of our potential. Can you feel the difference? One creates pressure, the other creates freedom. One says, I need success to be enough. The other says, I am already enough and I choose to pursue excellence. That is the beginning of alignment. Before we close, I'd like to leave you with three questions today. Not questions to be answered immediately, questions to sit with. Question 1. What achievement am I currently expecting to bring me peace? Think about it. Question 2. What is the feeling am I actually seeking through that achievement? Is it security? Is it recognition? Is it worthiness? Could be freedom? Could be peace? What is that feeling? And question 3. How might I begin cultivating that feeling today rather than postponing it until the next milestone? Take some time with these questions. They have the power to shift the direction of your life. If there is one thing I want you to remember from today's conversation, it is this. Success is valuable, definitely, and achievement is meaningful. Excellence is worth pursuing. But success was never meant to carry the burden of giving you lasting peace and happiness. Peace is not the reward waiting at the end of achievement. Peace is the foundation from which achievement is meant to arise. In our next video, we'll explore one of the most transformative insights from Advaita Vedanta, which is you are not your mind. And understanding that single idea can completely change the way you relate to stress, to emotions, success, and even your sense of self. If this conversation resonated with you, let me know in the comments. What achievement are you currently hoping will finally bring you peace? And if you'd like to continue this journey from achievement to alignment, subscribe and join me for the next conversation. Until then, stay curious, stay aware, and remember a meaningful life is not built only through what we achieve, it is built through who we become. Namaste.